Of all the acquisitions made by the Mets, right, Max Scherzer, Starling Marte, they got all the run. But the reacquisition of Jeff McNeil this year, that's been massive.
100%. Getting back the guy that you saw when he first came up. And what I saw when he first came up was a guy who, look, he could hit. He could always put the ball in play. He could always hit the ball hard. He could always, hit for average. But you still saw some of this stuff early in his career, going up even through last season, making outs and just the overreaction. And I remember coming up as a young player, and this was something Oakland harped on me with. It was, hey, if you're that hard on yourself and that hard on, your equipment and everyone around you, it gets tough to be around that for 162. People don't want to be around that. And this offseason, I was okay with the Mets moving on from this guy. Well, what they were able to do is get through to Jeff and really kind of explain to him, look, you're going to make outs. Things are going to happen throughout the game. Let's not overreact. Let's not have these big, crazy reactions. Let's learn how to take it in stride, and good things will continue to happen. You'll stay more even-keeled. That's what I'm seeing from Jeff McNeil this year, and that's why he's back on. That's why he's back where he's at as far as hitting for average. But that's why he's on top of the NL or all of Major League Baseball when it comes to this batting title, because you're seeing the guy who's having fun again, who's not getting down on himself. And he still hit the ball well last year, but not to obviously to the effect that he has throughout the rest of his career, and especially what he's done this year. This is another level that we hadn't even seen from McNeil even previous to 2021. And that says a lot, because this guy, like I said, we always knew he could hit, but he plays multiple positions for them, mainly second base this year, which has been great. That could be another reason why he's been able to kind of settle in. But he plays the outfield. He's played some third base. He can obviously play second base at a very high level. He's had the opportunity to kind of hone in on what he needs to do to help this team, and he's been able to do it at a really high clip.
It's a good point about those emotional outbursts, because you see it from younger players, but generally not the veteran guys who've been around. Guys usually they either get out of the game or they age out of that, right? So it's good to see him doing that. I also see a guy who we always know he's had incredible bat-to-ball skills. Situational hitting, I don't know if there's anybody better, Nelly. I mean, he still has pop. You watch him hit with 2 outs, bases empty. He'll try to ambush somebody hitting out of the ballpark. But to me, it looks like he's choking up more and more often. I would never shift against him, especially with runners on base.
No way.
The way he handles the bat, I mean, and also now he's swinging less than he did at any point in his career. It's paying off. He realizes now, maybe this is the future of the baseball, future of baseball going forward without shifts, right? He doesn't have to hit the ball hard all the time. His game is not predicated, I don't think, on exit velo. You look at him and Luis Ariz, who's probably going to win in the American League. They don't hit the ball hard. They hit it often, right? And they control the bat so well.
And you see sometimes with players who are up around the top of the batting average leaderboard that their OBP might match their batting average. It's different for both McNeil and Ariz. They get on base at a really high clip, at an all-star clip.
I think what I like, and you mentioned this with McNeil, the fact that he is able to essentially do the situational hitting and find ways. You don't want to shift him. I would say the same thing about a lot of that Mets lineup. And what I'm getting to is I would give a lot of that credit to Eric Chavez and the job he's done as the hitting coach there. Of course, Buck is a part of that. That whole organization getting their heads together and realizing that, look, we're not going to hit a lot of home runs as a lineup. Let's find ways to get these runs in. And Jeff, I think, was the biggest piece of that, because he is the one guy in that lineup that can handle the bat better than anyone. But you can go up and down that lineup and say a lot of those guys have really done a good job of putting the ball in play, beating the shift, and it makes it hard when you're trying to game plan against a team like that.
You're bringing up Eric Chavez. I remember I heard this a couple times, but an opposing coach said that Met lineup, it just seems like a bunch of Eric Chavez's top to bottom.
It's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That is a great thing.
No doubt.